call this meeting of the Winnsboro City Council to order. Today is Tuesday, April 14th at 5:30 p.m. I'd like to welcome everyone here this evening. If you do have a cell phone with you, I ask you please silence it, not interrupt the meeting. If the need does arise to have a conversation, we ask you please step out in the lobby or outside to have your conversation so as not interrupt the person speaking to the council or the meeting proceedings. At this time, I'll take a roll call starting to my right.
Lori here.
Thatcher here.
King here. Hollowell here.
Let the record reflect that the quorum of the City Council is present and the notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Local Government Code. This time, we will go to our item 3, our invocation and pledge, which will be led by Jim Hollowell.
Let's pray. Father, we thank you for another day you've given us and all your blessings that go with it. We just ask that we thank you for the opportunity to get together to discuss and deliberate on the business of Winnsboro. We ask that you give us the knowledge and wisdom we need to make the best decisions for the whole of Winnsboro. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
The pledges to the American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. To the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Okay, let the record reflect that Councilman Borman is now present with us. Moving on to section 4, proclamations, presentations, and announcements. Is there anyone here from the Child Advocacy Center? Okay, seeing no one, I'll read this proclamation. Whereas the Northeast Texas Child Advocacy Center celebrates its 28th anniversary of servicing children and families in Northeast Texas since 1998, and whereas the center has conducted forensic interviews for over 10,000 children to date, addressing the serious community-wide challenge of child abuse and neglect, and whereas because children are our most valuable resource, we must foster protective factors and cross-sector partnerships, including education, law enforcement, and faith-based groups to ensure their well-being, and whereas prevention and awareness remain the best defense against the long-term emotional and economic costs of abuse. Whereas the Northeast Texas Child Advocacy Center, Child Protective Services, CASA, foster parents, teachers, law enforcement, and others work to ensure that children in our community have a safe and happy future. Now therefore, I, Richard Parrish, Mayor of the City of Winnsboro, do hereby proclaim April 2026 as Child Abuse Awareness Month in the City of Winnsboro. I urge all citizens to join the City Council in dedicating ourselves to improving the quality of life for every child and family in our community. Signed this the 14th day of March 2026.
They may be watching online.
Okay, item 4.2 is amended early voting location. This is a notice that we are giving that early voting for the upcoming city election to be held on the election day is May 2nd, but the early voting location will be held at the Winnsboro Civic Center located at 915 Wheeler Drive in Winnsboro as for early voting. And, I'm sorry?
Starts Monday.
Yes, that'll start Monday.
That's really a big deal. You don't have to go to Quitman to vote. You get to stay here in Winnsboro, so that's huge.
And then item 4.3, presentation of council chamber remodel bids. I believe, Ms. Lyons, this is you.
We have received the final bids that we needed for the remodel for this particular room. In conjunction with this particular remodel, we will be adding new AV systems so that it's easier and more ADA accessible for people who are watching. It'll fix a lot of the audio issues that we've had. The other major upgrade that's going to happen to this room is that we will be creating an executive session room for council so that when we convene into executive session, the members of the audience can stay where they're at and they no longer have to leave. So that's a really big upgrade that we're doing. A large portion of this remodel will be covered by court security funds, so that's excellent for our budget, and the remainder of the project costs will be covered by funds that were already budgeted out of this fiscal year budget.
Okay. And to clarify, the court security funds are funds that are paid every time someone pays a citation in the city court. So if you get a speeding ticket or something, there's a fee tacked on that they pay. So we're doing this at no taxpayer burden.
Correct, yes, sir.
Okay. Moving on to item 5, public comments. This is a section where the public may address the city council on any subject not already on the agenda. However, the Texas Open Meeting Act prohibits the city council from discussing issues which the public has not been given 72 hours notice. Those wishing to address items not already on the agenda may do so. However, the council shall refrain from comments and may, at their discretion, refer the item for research, resolution, or to a future item agenda. Speakers must have signed in before the meeting is called to order and shall be given 3 minutes maximum to speak on all matters of concern. I see no one signed up for public comments, so we will move on to item number 6, our consent items. 6.1, minutes, financials, and staff reports. Council, in your package, you'll find your minutes from the last meeting, current financial reports, and current staff reports from our various departments. Are there any staff members present that need to add anything to their report? Okay, seeing they're not signed up for public comments. Everybody noted an agenda item, so that it says very clearly if you're not already on the agenda. Yes. Back to item 6.1, minutes, financials, and staff reports. Council, do you have any questions about the consent items as presented?
I move to approve consent item 6.1.
I have a motion to approve. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion from the council? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Moving on to section 7. 7.1, fee waiver request for National Day of Prayer. Is there anyone here that would like to speak on that? Yes, ma'am. You'd come forward and state your name and address for the record.
Cheryl Harris, 1539 County Road 4070, Winnsboro.
Okay.
I'm the coordinator for the National Day of Prayer in Winnsboro. And can I speak for just a couple minutes? Give a little history of it, because this is a big year, 250 years as a nation. It's also the 75th year for the National Day of Prayer in America. This year marks the 20th year that we've observed it in the city of Winnsboro. 20 years. I think the first one was held at the Watt Building, like 10 people were out there. But we've had it every year. We've had prayer breakfasts. They kind of went out. And then we had prayer events in the afternoons to, get people after work and that didn't work out. So the little program we have at noon seems the best, draw the most people. Most of them have been right here at City Hall, right out here in this parking lot. Y'all remember the Reverend Art Walden? He started all that. So it's been really, really good. It's been around since 1952, and I can bet you most of Winnsboro has never even heard of the National Day of Prayer. It's really sad, but it is a national observance. We even held it during COVID, we didn't gather together because of spacing and all that, but we set out signs in different locations for people to drive by, say prayer, Winnsboro News, pray for the media and, arts and entertainment industry, We placed one at the bank, pray for businesses. We placed one at the memorial, the Veterans Memorial Garden, park, pray for our military. We even placed one at the Advocacy Center, pray for families, schools and all that. But I don't know where else, but anybody can just drive by. And then here a few years ago, we got to think, it would be really, really great if we could get it in the records, the actual archives of the city of Winnsboro, to name it as the National Day of Prayer in Winnsboro. And, show generations down the road that we are a generation that cares, that we do have faith in God, who created us, So we asked for an official proclamation, and y'all been gracious to do that every year. Thank you. So, that's about all. I'm just here to ask if the fee would be waived.
Okay. And Ms. Lyons or Ms. Parker, what's the fee? Okay.
make sure I had the right dates, thank you.
It's grown a little bit bigger every year. Last year we had around 140 people show up, which is phenomenal. So, I do want to invite you to really show up for lunch hour. That's when we pick the lunch hour.
Okay. And you do understand that we do not waive the deposits, but if the council decides the rental fee is waived. Okay. Council, any further questions? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we accept the fee waiver request for the National Day of the Library.
Okay, have a motion. Do I hear a second? Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion from the council? Here. Oh,
I have something to say. Have you asked for any donations or any,
No,
do you have any donations?
no. Never asked for it. Now, like the 500 deposit, one of the churches paid for that. So, I don't collect any money from anybody. I've been asked to, but no, I don't want to do that.
I hate this because I have made a very hard stance about paying the fees for our city facilities. Because that's how we pay to repay, fix, pay for the janitorials, those things. But I also know the National Day of Prayer. I've said the prayer at the National Day of Prayer as a high school student. So, and the fee's $125 after the deposit.
Like I said, we've been doing it for 20 years, long before the city charged anything for anything.
Well, we waived a lot of fees for a long time, like a lot of fees
Yeah.
for a
I
long
mean, we
time,
paid
for a lot of
Big
things.
Pole and all kinds of places.
council, any further discussion? I have a motion and a second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no.
No.
I have 3 ayes and 2 noes. Motion passes.
Can I ask one quick question? I'm wondering if there's just some way, okay, we want to have it at the Bowery, but I took the Civic Center because if it rains, that's secure. I'm also going to reserve the Bowery. Is there any way we could put the deposit for both, you know, like one deposit to hold both? I will not use both facilities.
That's something you'll need to ask city staff. That's not what this is on this agenda. So that's something you need to clarify with the city hall staff.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item 7.2, consider Autumn Trails Association request for HOT funds. Is anyone here from the Autumn Trails organization? Okay, if you would state your name and full address for the record, please.
Well, good evening. My name is Dorita Brown, and I'm the president of Autumn Trails Association. And my address is 2400 County Road, Picton, 2400 County Road 4294, Picton, Texas, in Wood County. And I just briefly want to talk to you about Autumn Trails and what all we do. And what all started out as a small annual gathering of friends meeting up, camping out, and riding their horses and wagons throughout the countryside of East Texas has now turned into 68 years of Winnsboro's Autumn Trails. We compete a lot with all the other fall festivals in the area throughout the month of October. Some run a single weekend, some run a whole week, but over the years, Autumn Trails has grown into a month-long celebration. And we draw in people from all over the region, including visitors from out of state. We'll kick off the Autumn Trails the first weekend of October with our annual tractor show and pool, fun runs and walks, and our Autumn Trails pageant. The second weekend, I am super excited about this year. We are working actively to get a carnival in here so that we can, so young families don't have to take their kiddos out of town to go find something fun to do. They can stay right here, ride carnival rides, and eat all the cotton candy that mom, dad, and grandma will buy for them. The second thing we're doing is, you know, who doesn't love a good challenge when it comes to a stew cook-off? And so this year, we're gonna have a big stew cook-off, encouraging local businesses and families to put teams together, have a theme, act out a scene from whatever your theme may be, and just compete for a very large traveling trophy and all the bragging rights that go with it. We all know that we have a bunch of people in town that love to cook cake and pie, so the annual cake and pie contest will be going on at the same time.
What day is that? I want to be sure I'm there.
That is October the 10th. That is October the 10th. That night we will finish off strong. While the carnival is still going on, the city is going to be putting on the second of their Winnsboro Live concert series that night. So that will be a very fun weekend, and I encourage anybody and everybody to come out and enjoy that weekend. Our third weekend is our normal Welcome Horse Parade, our trail ride, our pancake breakfast, and 42 tournament. so we provide this to businesses and individuals at no cost, and we were looking to print more so that we can ensure we have a steady supply of these throughout the year. And I will say, a lot of the local businesses also hang on to this throughout the year, and especially the chamber, and anybody that comes in, new visitors into Winnsboro, they can easily go through this book and say, hey, if you need security systems, go see so-and-so. If you need IT department, go see so-and-so. And so this is a very good tool for newcomers or anybody in the Winnsboro area. But the Autumn Trails is asking for $10,000 in HOT funds this year to help offset the cost of the printing and of our annual brochure, as well as advertising costs for posters, flyers, newspaper ads, other magazine publications, radio and television spots. And so we sincerely appreciate any requests or consideration that you're giving to us.
Okay.
And so lastly, I just want to say one thing, thank you. Because we know, thank you to anybody that works at the city, anybody that holds public office, and special thank you to our police department for always making sure that we always have a fun time, but we have a safe environment to do it in. And so we truly couldn't do it without each and every one of you. So anybody have any questions?
I have a question. So, when you do these brochures, do you do them like in Adobe InDesign or something like that?
Well, over the last couple of years, I personally is the one that have created the brochure, and I do those in a lot of Photoshop and in InDesign as well.
Okay, so you ultimately have a PDF. I own the Winnsboro News, the online version of it. If
Yes.
you would like to publish it online, I will publish the whole thing online. And we'll feature it we can feature it in September and October.
Perfect. I appreciate that very much. We will make sure that we get it to you. Our deadline for our ads will be June the 5th. At that point, Kendall, who works out at J&M, she's actually designing the brochure for us this year. So we hope to have it out and back before the 1st of September so that we can start getting it out to everyone.
I have a couple questions.
Sure.
Can you remind us what the hot funds you received in the past were? Because I know y'all received some in the past.
Last year, we received some to help offset the printing costs as well, but to my knowledge, from what I understand, we've only requested 5,000. But
That's what I thought.
Okay.
costs keep going up.
Well, and
and
you are
just-
doing a lot more.
Yes.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I just wanted to know and make sure that we're increasing, because there is a lot more going to it, and there is a lot more coming to Autumn Trails and all
Yes.
like that. Well, I do have another question. Do y'all do any form of surveying to gather data for this year to get better for next year, what we bring in? I know we've brought in some things, and we've lost some things, and we've brought in some things. And I know the Art Center has started doing a lot of surveying and things, and I just didn't know if y'all had any of that on y'all's radar, because that would help me give you more than $10,000.
I can also tell you where in the United States it's used,
Okay.
and you'd be surprised. We actually cover the entire world, but you probably don't care about how many people in Holland live, right?
Honestly, to my knowledge, no, it's just been word of mouth, just feedback that we're getting from everybody, but I think that's a great tool to use because, that way, anybody's always welcome to our meetings. We meet the first Tuesday of each month.
I've been to a few. I'm gonna come to one, I
Well,
swear.
please come
I'm
join
trying.
us.
I'm
Please
trying.
come join us.
Rachel helps with the cake contest. We're trying to get
Yeah.
that involved.
I apologize for interrupting, but I know,
I'm sorry, if you want to speak, you need to sign up, or you need to come up to the podium and she'll let you speak.
oh, sure, okay, go on. If you don't mind.
I'm so sorry, but you were asking about keeping track of who comes and
Yeah.
goes, and I know that Carolyn along with Mrs. Lyons, they work with the geocaching,
Yeah.
so they would have a ton of information to give you.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry.
You
I
already
did
have
get
it.
that.
Yeah,
I
she already has
did
it.
get
And
that.
just to see, I'm just wanting to see things, because I know we've seen events come and go, and I just want to continue to see growth, and we can see those hard numbers and bring those hard numbers. It makes it a lot easier to give maybe $15,000 as we continue to grow.
Right.
And I want to
I will
continue
say
to use
this,
those funds as well.
Like the beard mustache contest, it is coming back. It went away last year, and it wasn't that it went away. David and his group of guys just wanted to take a break for a year because they've been doing it for so many years, and they just wanted the little breather. And so they are so happy to be coming back this year with me through the event.
Okay, council, any other questions? Okay, Tanya, can you hear me? Okay, I know everybody else can't hear you, but I've got your notes here, so I'm gonna go over your notes real quick, and if you disagree with me, shake your head, jump up and down, do something, okay? Barely. That's why I was just gonna read your notes.
Well, I have something different to say, if, give me a second.
You're up all the way.
We can hear a lot better.
Okay, so can you hear me better now? Can you hear me better?
Yeah, go ahead.
Or not? Okay,
Yes.
so what I wanted to say, because I did put some notes together, because we had only received so far this year about 5,000 in hot funds. And we commit 4,000 to, the museum. However, what I realized, today, I was looking up kind of as we got started here, we have not received our second quarter fiscal year hot funds. So assuming they're gonna be it's hard to know if they're gonna be close to that. We hope they will be. So it's possible that we could do, a partial, and then depending on what the hot funds that come in, we just need to make sure that we don't overcommit our hot funds, before that. But if we do get the same that we did the first quarter, then I think we could safely say that we could do the 10. But if we don't, then then we might have a little bit of a shortfall there, and we would have to take it out of something besides hot funds.
Like,
And we
Tanya?
can't really do that with, as a city, we can't really just donate. So we have to have some kind of specialized fund to be able to do something like that.
Right, and Tanya, in your notes, it says, we should safely be able to give 5,000 and then, perhaps, apply with the EDC for the remainder?
Yes, I know that EDC typically has contributed. They've contributed technically hot funds, which honestly, we just kind of figured out this year that wasn't really theirs to give, because that's a city. That's something that comes in directly to the city, not to the EDC. And so I feel like there's probably some opportunity there. So I would say either try to split it and have EDC contribute some as well, or do a split conditional on what we actually receive. And we should receive by the end of the month, or just this last quarter that finished. And we'll know a little bit more where on track we are. I think that Jarita had suggested even potentially splitting between 2 fiscal years. I hesitate to do that because the next fiscal year is October. My hesitation there is that then it would commit what we might be able to contribute next year. And so I feel like, they might be better off trying to go to EDC as well. But I'm also comfortable with a conditional, if depending on what we receive, if we receive something that is similar. There is no other current allocation for hot funds, except for the museum. The other thing that I did put in my notes as well is that we do have some hot funds left over from previous year, if we want to consider committing that as well.
I have a question. How do we generate hot funds? Like, what generates hot funds?
Any hotel, Airbnb, anything like that that's considered a short-term rental, they collect an extra tax that then is reported to the city on a quarterly basis. So the hotel, Airbnbs, Oakley Mansion, Clark House, those types of locations pay, and they collect an additional tax, and then they send that to the city on a quarterly basis.
And then we're able to use those funds to then donate to events that helps generate more hotels stays. Gotcha. Thank you for clarifying.
They're specifically for things that create tourism. We can do it for concerts, anything that would bring any kind of tourism into the city. Yes, anything that would bring tourism in would be eligible to spend our hot funds, but we do have to spend them on something that is within that category. but it's typically any kind of activity. It could be for autumn trails, it could, because
Yeah.
they're a tourism event, it could be for, art and wine, any of those events, type of events that would theoretically, bring in, tourism, that's what we would be able to contribute that to.
All right, thank you.
Council, any other questions? Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve $5,000, $5,000 of hot funds for the Autumn Trails Association.
I have a motion, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second, any further discussion from the council? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Ah, thank you.
Question. So we would come back after the additional hot funds come in and look at this again. So is this something that we need to get?
Or I can also get you on the EDC agenda, which is just in a couple of weeks. Yeah, or both, depending on what EDC does.
Okay, moving on, next item is 7.3, request.
Bring some numbers.
Request for agenda item, request from Wagon Junction. Is there anyone here that would like to speak on this? I believe, Ms. Sheik, you're here. You come to the podium. There's a couple of people here. I have one signed up.
Good evening, I'm Delise Hart. I live at 399 Mitchell Street in Winnsboro, Texas. And I am here to talk about strong support of Wagon Junction Food Court. Wagon Junction is more than just a place to grab a meal. It's a gathering spot for our community. It brings together family, friends, and visitors, creating a welcoming environment that reflects spirit and character for our town. Small businesses like those of Wagon Junction are the backbone of our local community. They provide jobs, support local suppliers, and keep dollars circulating right here where they matter most. Beyond the economic impact, Wagon Junction offers something equally important: community connection. It's a place where people can come together, enjoy a variety of food options, and feel a sense of belonging in a time when community spaces have become harder to find. This kind of environment is incredibly valuable. For what I've seen, the vendors work hard to maintain cleanliness, follow regulations, and provide a quality service. They provide and take pride in what they do, and it shows. The permit is not just about allowing businesses to continue operating, it's about supporting entrepreneurship, preserving a vibrant community space, and encouraging continued growth in a positive direction. I respectfully ask that you approve the permit for Wagon Junction Food Court so it can continue to serve and strengthen our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have
Okay.
a question in regards to this.
Let's hear from the initial speaker, or the initial presenter, and then we'll get to the questions. We'll get her up here.
I think this community already know the business model, and they know our struggles, what we go through, what we stand for, because
would like to comment here. I don't believe anybody on this council, despite what is being circulated on Facebook or out in the public, is against your business, against Wagon Junction, against in any shape, form, or fashion. What we have as a council that we have to do is we have to follow certain state laws in granting stuff like this. Like I have said, back in, I think we met in August. Was it August we met here? And I gave you a 90-day extension on your permit then, which we were not obligated to do, but we did, because I want to see Wagon Junction continue. And we needed to work, you're the first mobile food truck park that we've had. You're the only park. You have to have, what is it, 3 or more to be considered a more?
We're the second. It's 2 of ours.
It's 2 or more? Okay. But you're the only one that has come to us. Yes. At that time, I requested certain documents, information to share with the council because there are certain guidelines the state says we have to meet, that all special use permits are temporary from the word go. That's in the local government code. And I believe you're an attorney, are you not? Let me finish. Let me finish. We granted the special use, the temporary special use extension. We came back in March, reviewed it again. Was it March? No, it was October. It was the end of October. And we went back and granted another 6-month extension. So it's not that we are wanting to see Wagon Junction go anywhere. We are wanting to work with Wagon Junction as a city and a council to see what we can do to help benefit y'all, benefit the community, and everything like that. I've got some notes here. The council requested at the last meeting back in October. The council requested a P&L report covering the past 12 months. And I've got some notes on responses here, so correct me if any of this information is incorrect. I'm just going off what I was given. Proof of compliance with required sales tax remittance. You maintain that it's unlawful for the council to request proof of sales tax compliance and provide several reasons. We won't go into that. But that you have agreed to include compliance with all federal, state, and local taxes as a condition of the lease agreement. That's understandable. We have looked at the vendor statistics, the foot traffic coming through there through the geocaching system that we use, and yes, it is remarkable. The site plan that you've given to us is essentially for 5 food trucks, and there are things we would like to, maybe we can shift that around a little bit. We can get some more trucks in there. But we're in no way trying to hinder a business or shut businesses down. We're not. We have to do everything that's compliant via the law.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Have you seen any posts from Wagon Junction bashing the city?
Personally, I've not seen anything from Wagon Junction, but because I have seen your customers that will take posts about a meeting from Wagon Junction and that you're notifying of a city council meeting, and then they will start bashing us.
We do have customers that ask us whenever we are here for the permit, they want to come and support us.
And your support is phenomenal. You have my support. Fortunately, I don't have a vote.
So, and just, I want to add here, that we had an incident. I take posts on Facebook very serious. I think we need to see how, everything has 2 sides, and there's public perception. We had one, which I'm not gonna mention names, this is not my place to mention names, but he bashed the police officer. I think he's aware of that. I know we have to comply with the law, but also there is the customary things that how a city does with the business, so I wanted to check it out. And requests like emails or list of requirements. I was really like, oh wow, you know, why just me? That's how I felt. And I'm thinking, and look, this is not an attack to any of you. I know lots of you want to have business in town, or all of you. And, but it's from a place of being hurt, you know, I just felt hurt. Because I had the best intention to bring something nice to the community. That, you know, I had moments that was like, I have to change the plans because, you know, if nothing I'm gonna be doing here is good enough. So, I want to ask you really to, look this with, you know, thinking about the community as well, the good things that can bring, because I want to do more, but, I do see posts of people want to do the same thing outside town, which is sad to see. But the word is out there that Winnsboro became too difficult to do business. And I do feel that we need to change that impression, you know. If it's, don't reject because something is missing a pole or something. We can work on that, you know, just look at the whole business model. I think that's something we gotta think about. Do some soul search what we want for the city. Because I moved over here because I was a city with potential. I know people want to keep small, lots of people want to keep small, but you can have a very good quality downtown and business even if it's small. So, that's one of the things I want to say, you know, and I do have some questions. I don't know if it's appropriate to ask, because I was looking at the ordinances last night.
I think Councilman Borman also had a question.
Mine is for Lindsay, I believe. As I recall, and it's been quite a while, did they receive money from the EDC?
Yes, sir.
Did they comply with everything that was requested by the EDC in order?
Not everything, no, sir.
Okay. Were there any unreasonable requests by the EDC? Or?
I think reasonable depends on the person who's
I
reviewing the
understand.
request. The one area that they did not.
So I'm a businessman of
Sure.
30-plus years here. Would I have found them unreasonable?
Let me say this, and then you can make your determination. The one area that they were not compliant in, which prevented them from getting the full amount that the EDC had incentivized them with, was ADA compliant restrooms.
Right, which is a little complicated for their situation, but the Barrel House managed to pull it off.
I wasn't here
Yeah.
when that happened. I'm not sure.
Yeah, okay. All right. Okay. And then the city had requests, Randy. Am I correct that,
I'm sorry, so
like the P&L, there were several things that we wanted to see that we never got, correct?
correct, some of it was still being compiled,
Uh-huh.
and I believe McKinsey has what have
I
you
met
gotten?
with Brent and Anna, and they were able to provide everything that you all had asked for. And the only thing that they asked for, which I do believe is reasonable, is that the financials be brought to the meeting so they did not become a part of public record. And so I believe that she does have that. But just to circulate amongst you, not for us to retain for obvious reasons for public information requests.
So the cooperation has changed, improved?
The only part we are kind of at, working through currently is the site plan. That's the only thing left, is just getting that site plan correct.
Okay. So, again, and I apologize because it's been a while, and I remember when you and I personally met. So if the council feels that the cooperation level with the Wagon Junction has been met, and we're down to just figuring out a site plan, if we're gonna figure out a site plan, then maybe we should really consider a permit.
I like what you're saying. So I move to approve the permit request for the Wagon Junction.
Have a motion, do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion from the council?
I have a question.
Okay.
What about the ADA compliance? Is that not something that we don't have a choice about? Is it that
No,
just
I
something
think
that
that
has to be done?
The permit
That's-
inspector will be working, our chief inspector can work with them on that.
Yeah.
And we will approve them.
You-
I'm all for approving the permit and letting her work with the inspector and what needs to be compliant
That's
within
part
the law.
of the site plan?
They're working on the site plan, and I think they'll make it follow the law, so.
I think we can,
I would like to move to approve it so that the office can then make sure that we are staying compliant and moving on, and Wagon Junction stays open and we can get more business.
if they've exhibited the effort, it was my criticism before was it was like nobody was doing anything to move this along. If they've exhibited the cooperation that we were seeking, and they're taking it seriously, and we have gotten now down to the point where we're trying to work out the intricacies of a site plan, then we're really considering a permanent location.
And y'all bought that property. Y'all bought it.
They have, or they're in the process of.
They have.
They have completed it. We have completed it. Okay, all right. We can solve the ADA compliance.
Well,
Okay.
that was my only concern,
Yeah.
is that, you know, we could be legal.
I do have a question about the compliance.
I've got a motion and a second on the floor, so I have to deal with that. Okay, council, any further discussion?
I have a point of clarification just for the minutes. Is the motion to approve contingent on approval of the site plan?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I have a motion, a second. Any further discussion from the council? Hearing no further discussion, I'll entertain a motion, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Wagon Junction is issued a permanent special use permit.
Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate, and I brought this stuff for you guys to see, in case you want to review anything.
We're too damn tired to look at it.
I appreciate it, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I was kidding. There may be something that we need to see, but I personally am too damn.
Yes, don't leave. I want to talk to you after the meeting. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, item 7.4, action on ordinance 1093-2026, amending section 5.0.001 of the Code of Ordinances regarding interference with public duties and penalties. Ms. Lyons?
This originally came from, it was a request from our fire chief asking that the ordinance be amended, is that correct, Holly? To allow them enforcement measures while they are on scene to make sure that they have the right or the authority to clear the scene and keep it safe. Holly amended the ordinance to include that as citywide, so any major scene that's happening, police, whether it's police department, code enforcement, any public service, public works, if they're working on a site, that they have the authority to ask people to leave the scene if the scene is unsafe for them.
Wouldn't that already fall under interference with official duties under the Texas Penal Code?
I don't,
This actually updates our ordinance. Our current code is from 1997 and explicitly just protects fire department personnel. The way we have it now, it is more in compliance with penal code that says any public servant is protected, so
Okay.
it's all in.
So if Councilman Borman's out there trying to clear people out from in front of his building and they don't leave, okay.
You got it.
I'm covered?
Yeah, you're covered, you're good. Council, any other questions? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
As long as I'm covered, I'll make a motion.
Which What's your motion?
I move to approve action item ordinance number 1093-2026, amending section 5.01.001 of the Codes of Ordinance regarding interference with public duties and functions.
Say that 3 times fast.
What he said.
I have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion with the council? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Okay, item 7.5, action on surveying and acquisition services agreement from TNP. Is this Ms. Lyons or is this Ms. Austin?
I forgot she was there. I'm so sorry.
At this time, I've got a request,
There you go.
though, that we take a short intermission. Wow. Take a brief recess, a 15-minute recess. So at this time, we will be going into recess at 6:25, reconvene in 15 minutes.